Good afternoon. Welcome to Pyramid Parent Talk. I'm Karen Harper Royal.
And I'm Lynn Farlow.
We're parents with Pyramid Community Parent Resource Center, providing information and support to parents of children with special needs in New Orleans. At Pyramid Community Parent Resource Center, we provide one-to-one assistance, workshops on special education law, positive behavior support, and advocacy skills. You can reach us on the web at www.pyramidparentcenter.org. Follow us on Facebook at Pyramid Parent Center and on Twitter at Pyramid CPRC. Our caller helpline 504-218-8922. You can listen to a replay of this show and other shows at www.pyramidparenttalk.com. Today we're discussing a recent decision by the Louisiana Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, otherwise known as the Bessie Board, to not renew the charter contract of Lagniappe Academies and what that means for children who will all now have to find new schools. The decision by Bessie came because of some very serious and disturbing special education violations, some cheating, apparent cheating on state tests, and what appears to be the discouraging of parents from re-enrolling their children in the school. The Louisiana Department of Education has this statement in their report, which seems to be about a 200-page report on the issues at Lagniappe Academy. It says, through the compilation of this report, the department has developed significant concern about the competence of the school leadership to manage the basic operations of the school. A preponderance of the evidence provided by families and teachers and collected by the Department of Education suggests that the school administration is not able to adequately manage the needs of students within the building. This incompetence has manifested in a set of findings. And in this report, you could actually find this report online as well, but these findings are very disturbing. If you are a parent at Lagniappe or concerned about the closing of this school and how it will affect children, please give us a call. And of course, here at Pyramid, we're concerned also about the children who have been affected by these special education violations. So this report is based on a lot of there are several affidavits in the report that lead to allegations of in 4 different areas.
Karen, let's just make sure we give them the number to call.
Yes.
You can call us at 504-260-9265.
Thank you. That's absolutely right. Just give us a call, 504-260-9265. So the report covers 4 main areas. There's a failure to provide a free and appropriate public education for students with special needs, and sometimes we call that FAPE. The other areas, there's fraudulent and inaccurate documentation related to special education services. The third area is the retention of students to prior grades, meaning they would keep kids back even when the student actually passed their courses and it didn't look like they should be kept back. And then the fourth area were the testing violations. So in the area of the special education violations, it said that the school didn't have the proper protocols to identify students with special needs. And we talk about this all the time. We call that child fine.
Right, and we've talked about it like for the last couple of shows.
Especially in light of the special education lawsuit, right? So, and that simply means that the school is supposed to have a system in place to identify children who have special needs, such as being able to evaluate the students. And so at this school, apparently, even when parents made requests for evaluations, the school failed to provide any notification of the decision not to conduct their evaluation. The administration also did not convene the school building level committee to make the decisions by which you can make the determination whether or not an evaluation was needed. School leadership directed teachers not to provide students the special education services mandated in their IEP.
And these are gross, just gross doings by the school. I mean, can you imagine having your child in this school and they can't be evaluated? They're requesting it, and I'm sure there probably were teachers that may have requested evals for certain children.
And now we know that this happens in many, many, many schools. I mean, that's one of the chief complaints we get from parents, that the school won't evaluate their child. It's wrong when the other schools do it. It's certainly wrong that Lagniappe has done it. And the other thing is that families of students with identified or suspected special education needs were discouraged from attending the school or returning to the school in subsequent years. That's another one of those issues we've come across. We've been telling the state over and over again that these things existed. So this is not news to us.
No, it's not.
What is news is that the solution is to close the school. And so we are absolutely concerned about the children who didn't get their special needs met. But we're also concerned about those very same children who now will have their education destabilized.
Absolutely.
The other area that these violations cover is the fraud and inaccurate documentation. So it says in the report that Lagniappe staff members were asked to produce or sign documentation confirming that they provided services when they had not, and there were service logs that were submitted by Lagniappe with the names of staff alleging that these staff members provided services that were not in fact provided. Multiple Lagniappe staff members were asked to set up physical space within the school to suggest that a classroom was available for small group instruction prior to the Louisiana Department of Education coming in for a monitoring visit. And then the school submitted service logs for students that falsely suggest services were provided to students on days when the school was on fall break or when students were absent. So it looks like once it became clear that the Louisiana Department of Education knew that this school had not done what they were supposed to do. And again, this happens in other schools. I just want to make that clear. And usually what the Department of Education will do is put the school on a corrective action plan. That's usually the remedy when a school violates special education law or children's rights related to special education law. They have to do this corrective action plan. And the reason the state even knew about the fact that they fraudulently made it look like they did it is because there were two staff members who quit and basically blew the whistle. So my question is, where we don't have whistleblowers at these other schools, how do we know this isn't happening at the other schools? We know the violations are occurring. How do we know that the corrective action plans are not being fraudulently dealt with?
We don't know.
And that's why we need parents to know their rights. So you're absolutely right. We don't know. And again, if you're a parent at Lagniappe or a parent at any other school and you're not able to get services, do you think these kinds of things are going on at your school? So the other thing was the retention of students, keeping children back. Lagniappe retained a disproportionate number of students compared to schools in New Orleans and around the state. Lagniappe retained students without making proper adjustments to the IEPs. And they also retained students without notifying parents, which I find very disturbing. So you're going to keep my child back, but you're not going to tell me?
Yeah.
I actually talked to a parent, they did tell, and the parent's like, no, my child passed the classes that she needed. And so, no, you're going to go on and, move my child forward. So we have a caller on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, good evening, you guys. How you doing?
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
On this rainy, dreary afternoon.
Yeah, it's a very fitting day
for this topic,
with the parents over at Lagniappe Academies, just to be honest with you. But I guess I'm a parent of a student at Lagniappe Academies. My name is Harold, and I guess my growing concern is that, moving forward, for them allowing to, Lagniappe to continue, I guess, running the show, my concern is for the parents who haven't been identified, for children who still have special needs.
Yes.
That's like one of my biggest concerns right now is to try to, help those parents know that their child has a special need and it needs to be taken care of and dealt with right now rather than next year because that process takes a lot of time.
Have you guys heard anything from the Department of Education? Are they coming in and making sure those kids get their special needs provided, now that they know that the school lied about it?
The only thing the Department of Education is worried about right now is impressing upon RSD to force one-apps on parents. And right now, and I understand because the school is going to be closing, but this morning they were out there in a barrage of people, attacked cars as, fast as they could to get applications out to parents so they could put them in the next school. Not even being concerned about this school or the kids even being in this school, right now at this particular time. With all the things that's going on at the school, you would and say, you know what, you guys are so incompetent. Let's put a team of people that we have in place and let's oversee this thing to the end of the year and make sure this goes down right.
Yeah, that would probably be the right thing to do and be responsive to the children and the families at the school. You would think they would do that, but they're not.
Harold, was there any meetings set up so parents could share what their thoughts were regarding having to place children in another school?
Well, on tomorrow there's a surprise board meeting.
A surprise board meeting?
Yeah, I call them surprise board meetings simply because they're not giving parents enough notice as far as this is concerned. I mean, I work during the day, and having a board meeting during the daytime is like the worst thing ever. And so I'll try to make my way over there, but I'm going to be letting other parents know that it's important that they go. I don't think parents are very angry at the Lagniappe board because, maybe their students haven't been affected by some of either the allegations or the findings from what the Louisiana Department of Education has done. But I think it's important that the parents, now begin to look back at the Lagniappe board and look at, some of the failures that they've had.
Yeah, so hopefully parents will show up at that board meeting. You want to give us the details of the time and location?
The board meeting is actually, they're saying that it's supposed to be for 11:30 a.m. tomorrow, but I got word from an inside source that it's actually for 11 a.m. So
my goodness.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if there's a board meeting before the board meeting, which would seem kind of fitting with all the things that's going on. I'm not sure, but I'm really just angry at the entire school. I'm angry at a lot of different people within this entire system, I would say. So, I think everybody played a big part in this entire mess. And I just hate it that the kids are the ones that are suffering. I hate it that my kids are going to be the ones suffering from yet another school, another charter management system that they'll have to deal with. And so now I'm, and this is at the end of everything. I mean, we can't even apply it to Orleans Parish schools. I don't want to deal with another recovery school, district school. I don't.
Well, I can certainly understand your feeling about that. I would probably feel the very same way. What assurances do you know that there won't be some special education violations that cause the next school you choose to close?
Well, that's one of the questions that we asked Mr. Patrick Dobart on last night. We had the opportunity to speak with him, and we gave him, parents were asking him an abundance of questions, and he was giving us the political answers that he always gives parents in these type of meetings when he closes down schools, because there's another school I was a part of that he closed down before, and he was ushering us, hey, we've got a school for you. I mean, we have a charter management company for you guys. Don't worry, we're taking care of things. But yet you just had to close down this recovery school because it was failing, and now you're telling us you have another plan for us, and it's the brightest plan also. And then that charter management operator, they didn't live up to a lot of different things, so we had to leave that school, and now here we are at Lagniappe, yet another closed school. And so I'm tired of the constant run around the revolving door with our kids. It's just, there's parents, if there are any parents listening right now in the sound of my voice, it's time for us to just really monitor what's going on with your children and also other children inside of the school, because, it's only when you pay attention to other people's children that you realize that it may be happening to your children also.
Well, Harold, we thank you for your advice to other parents. We're going to On that note,
Thank
we're
you,
going to take another call, but thanks for your call.
Thank you guys for your
All right,
work.
thanks for calling, Harold. Go ahead, caller.
How you doing?
Hi, we're a
Sister
little
Lynn
wet
Paulo
today,
and
a little
Karen,
upset.
Two of my favorite people, Lynn Paulo and Karen Hopperall, right? And all we listen to your show, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
We heard what happened to Brother Ira Thomas, right?
Yes.
And that was entrapment and FBI sting generated by the Justice Department, downtown U.S. Attorney Kenneth Polite, right? He on television bragging about we're against corruption. The other investigate the RSD corruption, right? All the different things coming out of these different schools, how this money being misused.
Well, it just goes to
and
show
missing
you don't
in
have to be
places.
elected to have something going on with these schools, right?
Yeah. I mean, you would think that they would be on top of that rather than take somebody down for $5,000. They claim Mr. Ira Thomas took on in this so-called deal with some contract or something like that.
Yeah.
They admitted they set the person there.
Well, I tell you what, we're very.
That was entrapment. Let me say, let Kenneth Polite, the U.S. Attorney Office, investigate RSD in total.
I agree.
They got a lot of problems and money, equipment missing, money missing, and people paying themselves, and then investigate all that 30. What I think, Brother Reverend Calhoun was talking on BOK and Dr. Sanders was talking about $35 million a year on bus transportation.
Absolutely, yes.
That's totally ridiculous. So the black community is being taken to the cleaners every day with this RSD disaster. Thank you very much for letting me talk.
All right.
And, I always check y'all program out. Keep on doing your thing, my sister.
All right. Thank you so
Good
much.
day. Good job.
Yes. Well, I mean, when I saw the allegations against board member Thomas, it was at the same time that this was going on around Lagniappe and and I'm going to say the CEO of the school, her name is Kendall Petrie, and in the report, there's another lady at the school by the name of Allie McCormick, and they appear in these affidavits that are signed by many people alleging that all these wrongdoings happen at the school. But I never saw Kendall Petrie's face as the CEO/principal of Lagniappe Academies on TV. Never saw her face in any of the articles, yet she hurt children. So the big news was that a school board member took $5,000. But, of course, for me, the biggest news is when somebody hurt children, especially children with special needs, by not providing the services that they needed. We have another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Hi. Good
Hi.
afternoon. Welcome to Pyramid Parent Talk.
Thank you. This is another concerned parents calling, being displeased with the action that was taken by Lagniappe Academy.
So how did you hear about the school being about to close? Well, closing at the end of the school year.
Well, I think it was last Tuesday. Every first Tuesday of the month, the parents get together and have the parents' meeting. And that's when it came about to us during that meeting.
And how is the closing going to affect your child?
It's going to affect him very bad because this is our first year there. He came from another failing school.
Oh,
into
no.
this school because it was supposedly a B-rated school. Now I'm having to deal with trying to locate another school.
How's that going?
Well, it's not going very well because I haven't started yet, but I received some stats. Now, RSD has 62 schools under their cognizance, and with those 62 schools under their cognizance, 56 of them in the one app holds a D or F. Now, there's 180 kids at Lagniappe. So what are our chances of trying to get into one of these B-rated schools or C-rated schools where the B-rated school only holds 11%? The C schools are 32%. So how narrow of a window will 180 schools be able to get into one of these B schools?
Let me ask you a question. If you're able to get your child into a C-rated school or a B-rated school, what assurances do you have that special education violations won't be found at that school and it'll be shut down?
Have none whatsoever. I'm more than sure it's happening in all of the schools.
And that's one of the things we're concerned about. What is the state doing to uncover this at all of these other schools? Because we know it happens because we work with parents of children with special needs. We know it happens.
Well, according to Superintendent Dobar, hey, the internal controls are in effect and are working. But how?
Well, if those two employees had not blown the whistle, would they have known that they had this level of special education violations?
I think not.
And I'm going to say I know not, considering, I have some current parents at other schools, and we've been begging for help for these other parents, for these children at these other schools. And I do think about the children at Lagniappe who didn't get evaluations and that kind of thing. Have y'all been in touch with parents who are upset about what's going on?
Yes, we've been in touch with several parents. We have had several meetings, and the parents are not happy. And as a parent, and to the parents of the children that was affected by the behavior of the administrator, I, as a parent, I apologize, because if that was my child, I would be upset, too.
Has the board apologized?
We have not even spoken to the board. Supposedly, they're coming forward tomorrow with a meeting during the middle of the day where everybody's working.
Are you going to be able to attend that meeting?
Or I may do for 1 hour. I can't do the whole session. But based upon this WBOK announcement, they may cancel because they're good at canceling their board meetings. Because I have shown up at several board meetings canceled.
How do you wish the state would have dealt with this problem instead of closing the school?
First of all, the state should have done more monitoring, surprise visits. When you violate something, you give corrective action plan and you have more oversight of what's going on. You don't shut down a school. Now, I'm not throwing shades at other schools now, but what constitutes MLK being renewed when they turned away students after being accepted through the one app? Doesn't that constitute failing to provide education to all?
And I think you bring up a very, very good point. It seems that there's some unequal treatment of schools. Why are the Lagniappe children less valuable and can be dispersed than the MLK children?
That's right. Because when somebody violates something, you get rid of the people in charge. You don't close down the school.
Right. Well,
let me ask, so what do you think parents can do going forward?
Keep protesting. We are the voices of our children, and it's about time we take a stand to be heard.
Well, thank you so much for your call.
Thank you. Bye.
And again, Harold said that the meeting really is at 11 o'clock, not 11:30.
And he also
tomorrow
said that it might be
school.
A meeting before a meeting.
Right. So if I was a parent, I would show up by a little bit before 11 just to be sure we see what's going on. We do have another caller. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening. Good
How
afternoon.
y'all doing on this dreary afternoon?
We're a little dreary, but yeah, but we're good. We're good.
My name is Anthony. I'm a parent of a student at Lagniappe as well. And I'm just calling in just to, vent my frustrations a little bit with how everything was handled when it comes into conjunction with the parents. The communication from RSD was handled very poorly.
So, Anthony, before you get started, I just want to let you know we have probably about 3 minutes left, but we'll give you those 3 minutes, okay? I just want you to be cognizant of the time. So go ahead.
I definitely understand that. Well, like I said, just the entire thing was handled very poorly. Nobody communicated any information to us. We, as parents, had to band together to, dig up this information and see what's going on behind closed doors within our school. Yes, the findings that were taking place were very foul, very, very disheartening. But at the same time, it's like you stated earlier, what happened to the corrective action plan? Where's the proper handling, the proper upper level management of the people that were in place? Where did that take place at? Where did that take precedent at? And it just feels as if though everyone is in it for self and not for the children. So as I say this, I say to whatever parent that may be listening, whatever school you may be in, especially if it's overseen by RSD, be wary of what's going on. understand what's going on with not just with the child that you have, but with the child that's placed in front of your child, the child that's seated next to your child, and the child that's seated behind your child. Because if something is happening to those children, it can be happening to your child too. And you gotta understand where it's coming from. You have a right. You have a voice, and
Anthony,
it needs to be heard.
Is there any plan to try to get with parents at these different schools so that y'all can try to begin to plan some things together so these kinds of things don't happen where parents have to be fearful of a school just closing on them like what's happening to y'all?
Currently, that is, what we're focusing on next is banding together to get a parent bill of rights together, not just for us at Lagniappe, but for the entire city. They're trying to take this RSD thing nationwide and spread it out to other states. And the only way that we can really oppose or have, any type of direction in our child's education is if we stand up and speak out as parents against the things that we've lived through ourselves, whether it be good or bad. Everybody has a right to be heard. Everybody has a right to a voice. And these things need to be discussed amongst everyone. We have to come together with the mindset of we're protecting the future of our children and not just the present. We will be addressing these issues collectively because it's not just taking place at Lagniappe. And the fear of this all is moving on to another school and being in the same situation 365 days from now. That's what we're trying to avoid from taking place.
All right. So we want to thank you for calling in. And definitely when y'all get that Parents' Bill of Rights, we'll definitely have y'all on the show. So,
Karen, what I was thinking is the independent monitor needs to know all of these stories.
Absolutely. And we'll be in touch with the parents at Lagniappe to help them get to the independent monitor.
Okay. So that was a fast show. A lot of good calls. Our next show is Tuesday, March 24th. Also, if you have any concerns regarding your child with a disability, please contact us on our helpline at 504-218-8922. You can listen to a rebroadcast of today's show and at others at www.pyramidparenttalk.com. And remember to follow us on Twitter at PyramidCPRC and like us on Facebook at Pyramid Community Parent Resource Center. And remember, you're never alone.